Ladies, let's talk about how to generate sexual tension with somebody. You want your partner to want you. You feel like your partner's distracted, not really in the game with you sexually, and you want him, then this is something to practice. Or let's say you're dating and you have your eye on somebody and you just don't think they're as attracted to you as you would like them to be. Here's the thing. Opposites attract sexually. I think of it as a law of nature. Opposites would be someone's vulnerable and someone's strong. Someone brings the openness and the vulnerability, and someone brings the solidness and really the safety so that everyone can have an ecstatic sexual experience. Someone's vulnerable, someone's strong. Now here's the thing. Guys like both in women. They like vulnerable women, they like strong women, and most guys can play either role. But women are picky. Women like strength in men, but they don't really like sexual vulnerability in men. So like if your guy starts like moaning and like when he has his orgasm, he's like fluids flying everywhere, what are you going to think? You're going to come to my office and say, that was gross, right? But if a guy's with his partner and she's having her orgasm and she's moaning and fluids flying everywhere, he's not coming to my practice. He's having the best sex of his life. You see the difference? So females like strength. Males like that letting go stuff, but they also like strength. They're happy to let go too. But here's what I want you to realize. You want that opposites attracting tension, but that means that you've got to bring the vulnerable, open element to sex. You have no other choice, because if he's bringing it, you're gonna probably get turned off. So you've got to bring it. So what does that mean? Openness and vulnerability isn't weakness, and it's a mistake women often make. They say, I don't want to be weak. Well, nobody wants you to be weak. He doesn't want you to be weak either. I tell you what, men talk to me always about appreciating strong women in bed. So I don't know that I've ever had a guy come in and say, I'm just so attracted to weak women. So really, this isn't about being weak. This is about being open. Those are two different things. And you have to be strong to let yourself be open. Okay? So how do you cultivate that for yourself if you're not used to it? Because really we have associated a lot of negative to this concept of female vulnerability. We think of it as women putting themselves out there for the potential to be abused, that sort of stuff. So, of course, there's a dark side to vulnerability. That's not what we're talking about here at all. We're talking about the kind of vulnerability where you're open and accessible and available and in tune with your body. That is a whole different thing than weakness, okay? So how do you cultivate that vulnerability? Because women will often say to me, you know, I've let go of vulnerability. I don't want it. And that's fine, but then probably you're not going to have great sex. That's just, unfortunately, the truth, that for great sex, most women have to let go. They have to be vulnerable. There's probably no great sex for them otherwise. Again, guys have more flexibility in the bedroom than women do with regards to this. So if you want great sex and you're not having it, you've got to cultivate your own process of openness. Okay, so one of the homeworks I often give women in my practice is yogic hip opener poses. If you've ever done yoga, you know what I'm talking about. Hip openers are very exposing postures, but you don't have to do yoga to know about it. You can just Google it and see what a yoga hip opener posture looks like, and then lock yourself in your bedroom and maybe put on some soft music and lay in one of those poses and do that repeatedly and see if you can find the pleasure in that. That's the same kind of openness and connection to your body and vulnerability that will help you find the kind of sex you're looking for. So you can practice it on your own. And I would suggest you do that, because if you're not used to feeling vulnerable and enjoying that on your own, it's going to be that much harder to find that energy when you're with your partner. So you want to practice it on your own first till you can find it and enjoy that sensation. And then just manifest that. When you're with your partner, just bring that sensation into your body and into your movement. So it doesn't have to and shouldn't just happen in the bedroom. Bring it into your relationship And that'll start that opposites attract sexual tension thing going. You will feel vulnerable, you'll feel exposed, I get that. But for good sex, everybody's got to feel some element of that. I just did a video for guys. Look that up. You can see why that can feel vulnerable to them because good sex requires showing up. You got to show up. And men have to show up with their strength, and women have to show up with their openness. And everybody, frankly, feels vulnerable doing it, but that's the key to great sex.